Now at 6, how a local nonprofit is raising money to help cancer patients. Plus, how a Joplin museum is getting volunteers to put their green thumbs to use. And 3 days away from the Joplin Outlaws season opener, we're going to hear from the team as they prepare.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Missouri lawmakers have passed a bill which supporters say would fix laws that unfairly impacted minority communities. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. One provision in the bill would end the sentencing disparity that imposes the same penalty for selling an ounce of crack cocaine as for a pound of powder cocaine. Another would bar the courts from trying children aged 12 or 13 as adults, except for the most serious violent crimes. Advocates say both laws have been felt most harshly in minority communities. The bill is currently awaiting Governor Mike Parson's signature. The Missouri Highway Patrol says highway fatalities in the state over the holiday weekend are down a little from last year, but still the numbers are really tragic. There were 314 crashes in Missouri over the long weekend, killing 10 people, down from 13 last year. Police also arrested 130 people for driving while intoxicated. On the water, there were 6 crashes involving boats, but none of them were fatal. There were also no drowning deaths reported. Anderson, Missouri authorities respond to a burglary in progress, and they find a naked man. Yeah, that'll choke you up. It happened yesterday around 1 near the 1500 block of Lodgepole Avenue. The homeowner says she walked into the living room of her house. She found a nude guy sitting on the couch. She left the home, called 911. Police responded, set up a perimeter around that house. They began making announcements to the man inside. After a brief standoff in which the man refused to leave, de-escalation techniques were used. The man went into the backyard where he was detained without incident, or at least without further incident. Authorities issued charges for burglary, felony vandalism, and resisting arrest. The Joplin Public Library is asking for the public's help in finding a stolen piece of artwork. The library says the statue on their bronze bench outside the entrance was stolen over the weekend. A statue of a little boy and a girl reading a book together. If you have any information on where that statue might be, please contact the Joplin Police Department. The weather outside, pretty nice today. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, not bad. High temps into the mid-80s, partly sunny skies across the region. We have had some isolated thunderstorms that have picked up mainly in southwestern Missouri, but some of these little storms are dropping some heavy amounts of rain. You can see them just on the east side of Joplin, and then another cluster in northwestern Arkansas. These continue north along I-49 toward Lamar, also in Nevada and Fort Scott, and then a little bit more widespread once you get up toward Kansas City. Temperatures still warm. Most of us are sitting into the mid-80s. As we go through the overnight hours, once we lose the heating of the day, most of these isolated storms will start to die off. Still a cluster to our north, and then late tonight into tomorrow morning, they're going to try to tick up again and push into the region. So a lot to watch as we go through the overnight hours and the next few days. We'll break it down for you here in just a bit.
All right, see you soon. The Missouri Department of Transportation is giving drivers a heads up concerning some projects planned in southwest Missouri. Starting next Monday, Route 59, Route 76, and Route F will see resurfacing projects. Crews are adding an overlay of new asphalt, permanent striping, rumble strips, and new guardrails. There will be no signed detour, and traffic is going to be reduced to 1 lane. In Joplin, travelers on I-44 should be prepared for lane reductions on off-ramps. That's going to happen on Thursday and Friday from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Crews are making signal improvements as part of a paving project. That work's going to be on the eastbound I-44 exit 1, U.S. Route 400 and 166, eastbound and westbound at exit 4, Missouri Route 43, eastbound and westbound at exit 6, Missouri Route 43 and Main Street. And west of Jasper, MoDOT crews are going to close the Route H bridge for inspection next Tuesday. That'll be June 6th. It's over North Fork Spring River between Jasper County Route J and County Road 150. No signed detours are planned. Drivers are urged to find alternate routes. For a full breakdown of Southwest Missouri MoDOT projects, just download the KOAM News Now app. The Mercy Health Foundation is fundraising money for the 7th year at their Stick It to Cancer event this week. Officials say this year's total goal is to raise $275,000 by the end of the event on Friday. This year, the foundation is working toward another 3D mammography unit to help patients with breast cancer when it's at a treatable stage.
The technology and the ability to find out what I had so quickly, and it was like, I know time is of the essence when you have cancer.
Hearing her tell it and hearing how emotional she was about what it meant to her to be able to get the type of cancer care that she could trust and that she knew right here at home.
Lewis says the campaign currently has more than 50 sponsors and community supporters for the event. Tickets to participate and sponsor the event on Friday night are sold out, but individuals can still donate to the campaign. The Joplin History and Mineral Museum today had its Volunteer Gardener Day. The museum invited community members out to help plant native species of wildflowers all around the historic building. Officials say the event educates the public on native Missouri plants and just how vital they are to the environment.
Our mission at the museum is education, and so like part of education is learning about your environment, learning about the area you grew up in, and this just seemed like a really natural fit to what we're trying to do at the museum, to teach people a little bit about the outdoor environment as well.
The museum plans to continue the project throughout Schiffer-Decker Park and bring the beauty of Missouri prairies back to life. Coming up, a new face for the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office. Plus, a Kansas City, Kansas woman searches for answers after finding an Army uniform in a ditch. Gabe Gore was officially sworn in today as St. Louis Circuit Attorney. Now, he was named Circuit Attorney by Governor Mike Parson after Kim Gardner resigned this month. She faced accusations that she was neglecting her office. Cases piled up. Attorney General Andrew Bailey pushed to remove Gardner from her post. Her office also faced contempt allegations. Gore will be St. Louis Circuit Attorney through the end of Gardner's term on January 1st of 2025. Veterans, their spouses, active duty military personnel, and members of the National Guard and Reserve can join in on a free virtual career fair in Joplin. That's going to be next Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The DAV, Disabled American Veterans, and Recruit Military are co-hosting the virtual fair. The DAV says more than 30 employers are seeking the talents of America's veterans in a range of industries, from construction to medical to administrative and logistics fields. You can register through a link on our website, koamnewsnow.com. Kansas City, Kansas woman is searching for answers after she discovered a well-maintained Army uniform in a ditch by the side of a road. And now she's on the hunt to find the owner's family. Reporter Andy Alcock has details.
This Army uniform looks so well-maintained you could put it right on. Last Tuesday, Luann Palmer's daughter found it on a coat hanger in this ditch by the family home on a remote road in KCK's Piper neighborhood.
Just thought if it was my dad's, I would want it back.
In one of the pockets, there was a love letter addressed to Howard Pennington from a woman, which reads in part, "Sweetheart, my love, I miss you so very much." With the letter and a 1957 postmark from Verdun, France, Luann reached out on social media looking for answers. Molly Jennings responded.
I like to try to solve a lot of mysteries, so I shared it with my daughter and she initially ran with it.
Molly and her daughter found Pennington was assigned to an Area Army Combat Engineers unit. The unit was in France building roads. They also found Pennington died just 3 days after the postmark on the letter. They don't know if he received it or how he died. With further research, Molly found Pennington's relatives in Clinton, Missouri, about an hour away from where the uniform and letter were found. But they didn't know anything about it.
I really just want to know who had it. I want to know why they kept it safe for 65 years.
It's been hung up. Somebody took great care of it. Somebody has to know something.
They discovered that Pennington's commanding officer lived in nearby Leavenworth and still has family in that area. A little bit later, 29 local baseball players earn recognition from the Kansas Association of Baseball Coaches.
Plus, more scattered thunderstorms are in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. Partly sunny skies, warm again, mid-80s during the afternoon hours. Also, some isolated thunderstorms have popped up over the past several hours, but they are very hit and miss, and that's how they're going to be as we go through the evening into the next couple days. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. All right, look at the scattered thunderstorms. Most of these southwestern Missouri, and then once you get up in the northeastern parts of Kansas, but you can see all the cumulus clouds popping up. Kansas, Oklahoma, not much for you today, but yesterday, most of the scattered storms were on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Again, none of these are too strong or severe, but if you get stuck underneath one of them, you're going to get some pretty good rainfall amounts, even some small hail, as some of these storms are a little bit stronger, but thankfully we aren't seeing anything severe. A little cluster in Benton County, one little guy just to the north of Pineville. We have a couple other clusters forming just north of Carthage, and then here's Lamar over toward Greenfield. Pretty good cluster now right through Nevada, just to the north of Fort Scott. And then we have this cluster that has been ongoing along the I-35 corridor. Also a pretty big cluster just to the west of Kansas City. So I really kind of want to see if this cluster here tries to push in over the next few hours. If so, then we'll get a little bit more widespread rain across the region. We'll just see how far south it can get for about the next 2 or 3 hours. Then these storms will kind of calm down, but then they're going to flare right back up late tonight into the early morning hours. Here's 3 a.m. Let's go to about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Look at the rain picking up southeastern Kansas. Some of these storms could be strong. Can't rule out 1 or 2 low-grade severe thunderstorms. Scattered thunderstorms pushing through during the morning hours, and then a break, and then more pop up again late in the day. All right, temperatures right now, mid-80s. Looks good. Here's 7th. Here's range line sitting at 85. We have southerly winds at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Through the evening, sliding back through the 80s, 70s, 60s. We'll bottom out lower 60s once again. Also, another big batch of thunderstorms ongoing. You can see the severe thunderstorm watch is popping up in western parts of Kansas. That batch will influence our storms once again as we get into the daytime hours tomorrow. We have these weak little upper level waves rotating through, but at least we're getting some rain. We need it because long range, mid-July through about mid-August, is going to be very hot and very dry, very similar to what we had last summer. All right, scattered thunderstorms through the morning, and then partly sunny skies, mid-80s. Isolated thunderstorms pop up again late in the day, die down tomorrow night. And then as we go into Thursday, we do it again. Pop-up thunderstorms across the region. So it's not widespread rain, but it is at least scattered thunderstorms. So hopefully at your house, you get some much needed rain. 86 tomorrow, 87 on Thursday, 86 on Friday. Rain chances sticking around all the way through the weekend and early next week. None of these days are a rain out, but could cause some inconvenience problems for a few hours at a time.
An awful lot of people, particularly farmers and gardeners, will trade some inconvenience for a bit of
Yes,
rain.
absolutely.
Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, 29 local baseball players earned all-state recognition, including 9 first-team selections. And the Joplin Outlaws prepare for Thursday night's season opener. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
Well, the Joplin Outlaws are just 2 days away from their season opener. The Outlaws host the Des Moines Prospects on Thursday night at Joe Becker Stadium in their first game of the season. Now, the summer collegiate team coming off a pretty successful summer last year. The Outlaws won the Mink League South Division title last summer and finished second in the league championship series. Now, they got high expectations and a talented group of local guys. The team is looking forward to opening the season in front of their home crowd Thursday night.
It's really exciting. The Outlaws always bring a good atmosphere with good fans around here, and I know everybody will be hyped up to play the first game. And you know, play in front of the crowd, and I just think it's awesome that we get to start out at home.
Opening night's always a big night in Joplin, and so for the kids to be able to experience that, especially their first one, and get to see kind of what the Outlaws mean to the people of Joplin is huge. And you know, hopefully we can start the season out with a bang and get the city a win in the home opener.
The 29 local high school baseball players have earned all-state recognition from the Kansas Association of Baseball Coaches. Columbus, Crest, and Fort Scott lead the way with 4 all-state selections each. Now, of the 29 local guys earning all-state honors, 9 of them have been first-team selections. In Class 3A, Columbus pitcher Seth Stover is a first-team all-state pick. His catcher, Landon Midget, is a first-team all-state selection as a utility player. Also out of the CNC, Girard High School senior Alex Kester is a first-teamer at third base. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons have 1 first-team all-state pick in junior catcher Tucker Akins. Now, here are the other guys who have been named first-team all-state. From the Crest Lancers, pitcher Trevor Church and outfielder Rogan Weir are on the 2A first-team list. Class 3A, Humboldt gets a first-team all-state pick and outfielder Sam Hull. And finally, a couple SEK kids here. Fort Scott pitcher Rocco Lafredo and Chanute first baseman Lars Custer, both first-team selections. If you want to check out the complete list of all 29 local players earning KABC All-State honors, check out the story on the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. The Kansas City Royals and St. Louis Cardinals finish up their quick 2-game set tonight in St. Louis. Now, the Royals are trying to sweep the pair of games from the Cards after winning Game 1 last night 7-0. We get a pair of good pitchers tonight in this one. Zach Greinke going on the mound for the Royals tonight, facing Miles Michaelis for the Cardinals. This one going to get started in about 20 minutes or so. We'll have the latest from the game right here tonight at 10. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news right after this.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to have more on an event later this week to raise money for local cancer patients. Plus, a Miami, Oklahoma organization hosts a walk to raise awareness of missing and murdered indigenous people. Those stories, a lot more tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. If you've ever been locked out of your house or car, and who hasn't at some point, well, you can relate to this next story probably. A Southwest Airlines pilot found himself locked out of the flight deck. He had no other option to get inside, so he crawled through an airplane window. The airline says a customer inadvertently locked the flight deck door while using the restroom. A passenger on the San Diego to Sacramento flight snapped these pictures of the ordeal. The passenger says he was impressed with the pilot's dedication. The flight left only about 8 minutes late. Good for that pilot, good for them getting off the ground when they did. But does it surprise anybody else that it requires that?
Surprised anybody else it was a Southwest airline?
I'm not commenting on that. You would think there'd be some technology, some code, something other than, I don't know what it is, a key?
Yeah, you'd think.
Start up the airplane? I don't know. All right, the weather.
Isolated thunderstorms sticking around tonight into the morning hours. We'll have a batch that pushes through and more popping up late in the day. High temp, 86.
On the sports now.
The Joplin Outlaws season opener Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Joe Becker Stadium. Also dollar hot dog night. So what better than summer baseball stuff in your face and hanging out at Joe Becker Stadium?
I mean, some peanuts and Cracker Jack.
I'll be there.
I don't care if we ever get back. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.